What is going on, everybody? So I decided I was gonna do a little like mini series type deal. I figured, you know what people might like to see is all the changes and everything we've got going on. This is also another great investment I made. These right here are DeWalt T-Stacks, and you could see for the most part I've labeled them. So this has pre-cut poly. There's 6-inch and 4-inch and some of the poly pipe barbed fittings in there. This one I'm pretty sure is going to be all the pins that I've got. Got some extra fittings in here. Farm seed, which is great because I can actually do like my farm seed, and I've got random seed. And these totes are pretty cool. So this is why I love the T-Stacks, because you open them, this one's got a bunch of space in it. So I've got a bunch of those for various different things. But they actually click in, so these actually hold them, so you could carry this whole thing just by lifting up here. So these are really cool. Keep things organized. And they've got a handle here, so you can carry them as a briefcase. One of these is really neat because it's got all these dividers in it. So I've got drippers for drip line, plugs for drip line, my hole maker for drip line, my 1/2-inch barb plugs, and there's a whole bunch of little stuff, so you can organize this whichever way you want. And then underneath you have a little bit more space. So I got my brass fittings, I got my hose clamps, things like that, all underneath there. And there's not a bunch of space. I made a whole video about this one. There's not a bunch of space up here, so when you carry this around, things aren't ending up in different sides of the container. So that's pretty cool. I said do a lot of bow shooting. That's just Jess and I going shooting for the first time together, hung up there. We did pretty good. Pretty fun. Then of course we got our fishing poles. Kind of keep them. We don't really do much winter fishing at all. So that's that. And then in between making this video, I actually got rid of all the sand, separated the sand and the rocks. And what we've got here is our quail hutch. And it's not really a cage, because I think a cage would imply that it opens this way on the sides. Go ahead. Go ahead. But here I have handles and 3 separate doors for the hutch. So we've got their water. So had some little pine branches, extra pine branches that the birds like to crawl underneath. Got their water. I try and change out their water every single day. Haven't had to do much magic water. We do that every once in a while, especially in the winter when it's cold. But other than that, it's just regular water for them. So we've got a second compartment for a lid here. And then my hope was to separate these here, so that way I could kind of move them out here and shut them off. That way I could come in here and clean. And we were doing straw. I don't know if you could see, yeah, we were doing straw in here, but it was getting too messy, too dirty. Quails are used to having sand, so I put a little tube of 3 right here, and we put sand in there, and they absolutely love it. The cool part about this hutch is when I designed this so that we could put a roof on it eventually, but I want the roof to be detachable. So these are a little higher than these ones, so that the roof is at a slant. But I want it to be detachable, so I put these up for when we have a roof. That's kind of one of the things that I would recommend everybody do, is when you're designing something, when you're building something, is to kind of think about the problems you're going to face. So one of the things is, I knew that I was going to have to clean this deeply eventually. So I've got this little 2x4 here that kind of holds in the sand right here. But if I want to pull the sand out, I just pop this 2x4 off of these little brackets here. Pop the 2x4 off, and the bottom, the floor of this whole cage comes out. So I can actually rinse the whole cage.